Today I'd like to talk about one of my favourite games of the last year, Risk of Rain 2. This is a game that innovates within a genre that could so easily become stale, and really holds its own as a landmark title. See, I don't actually play that many games, so when I do pick one, I like to make sure it's one I'm going to enjoy. I think that the success and praise that this game has had comes from one specific thing that it does right, so that's what I'd like to explore in this video. What is that thing? And how do I think other games might be able to implement the same thing in the future to get a positive result? But before we get started, if you just found us, remember to like the video and subscribe, it means a lot. Thanks. Anyway, let's just get on with it. First, I'd like to talk about roguelikes. This genre at its roots is as old as video games themselves. Defining the genre is a few key elements, but there is always a distinct focus on the random. Procedurally generated stages, randomised item drops, often random bosses and enemies as well. All of this complemented by permanent death of the player during a run. And in particular, this permadeath element originates from arcade games that kept players coming back to put more money in because they were determined to get further than they did on the last try. That's the hook. Now, modern roguelikes don't take your money every time you die and try again, but they do take something else. They take, and reset, your luck. The number of randomised parts in each try of a roguelike means a run can provide you with amazing luck, where the stars align and you end up getting all the right items and enemies, or terrible luck, where you groan constantly with all the awful items, hardest enemies and bosses, and worst environments that spawn. Let's take, for example, Enter the Gungeon, a roguelike with possibly a higher learning curve but just as much charm and personality as Risk of Rain. Even when you get all the best luck and you feel powerful and you're flying through the game, it has to end when you beat that final boss. Now, in a genre built on short and action-packed play sessions, this makes total sense. But here's the thing about Risk of Rain 2. See, it provides the player with choice. What this means is that as your run progresses in the game, you are awarded the choice to completely avoid the final boss and continue endlessly with your items and luck until you are overwhelmed with enemies. This is an important choice, even if it does seem mundane, because what it is a prime example of this game playing to its strengths. It makes the game, I don't know if I dare to say it, it's what video games are meant to be, and sometimes I feel like it's lost a bit in newer titles that I play. I mean, you'll often have amazing graphics and, interesting stories and so much to do, but it's just not fun. It feels a bit sad to say, but this is why Risk of Rain 2 stands out. You can't play this game and not have fun. Even when you die and lose everything and have to restart, the process of setting up a new run and getting started is just so smooth and easy that it doesn't really bother you too much. This is what a good game does. It recognises where it's fun and allows the player to engage with it and create their own path dependent on how they feel in the moment. Now, let's explore this a bit more and try and figure out why, in Risk of Rain 2's context, this elevates the game into something a lot more powerful and independent. This freedom of choice would obviously be contextually different depending on any game and genre you put it in. The freedom element is less what I'm trying to push here. I mean more that when a game knows what it does right, and it really plays to this and understands this, and gets in the mind of the player, you just can't help but come back for more. Alright, let's wheel it back a sec, and I'd like to talk about what actually makes Risk of Rain 2 fun. Firstly, the playable characters. The game starts you off by only giving you the most basic of the characters, Commando. So you get to grips with him, and you learn the controls, and you get better at the game, and then you slowly unlock the other characters through challenges and different activities during the game. At the time of recording this, there are 10 playable characters in Risk of Rain 2. Each one is very unique from each other, and I'd go as far as to say that sometimes when you play different characters it feels like a completely different game. The close range punching and swinging of Loda when compared to a longer range character like Captain just provides such a different experience that it really keeps things fresh. This is integral to the game. because it shows just how much it understands its combat if it can make both of these wildly different things work in the exact same scenario. Now, I don't have the crazy hours on this game that some people I know do, but I can tell you from experience that this variety between the characters makes it so much more enticing to come back and play the game, especially combined with the choice element, which I'm really trying to stress in this video. Choice is absolutely essential to Risk of Rain 2. From choosing your characters, choosing your artifacts, choosing the difficulty, even choosing individual abilities of your characters. All that customization starts before your run even begins. Once you're actually going, you get to choose lots of different things. You get optional areas like the Blue Portal and Celestial Portal. You've got printers that allow you to choose whether to keep your items or get new ones. And all of that is ignoring the main point I mentioned earlier about being able to completely skip the final boss. You really do have a surprising amount of influence on how your experience goes while playing the game. These choices pop up all the time, and your decision can completely impact what happens with your run. But what's really impressive is how seamlessly interwoven these choices are with the heavily random aspect of the game. The game knows when to leave something up to fate and when to let you step in and decide it for yourself. I thoroughly recommend you give the game a try if you haven't already, because what you'll find is a roguelike experience that oozes charm and personality, and doesn't pull any punches to get you straight into the action and having fun. In an era where we find ourselves stuck at home and looking for things to keep ourselves entertained, focus on the fun. Play games for the fun. That's what they're made for. And give games like this a try. They really are worth your time. Thank you very much for watching. I've really enjoyed talking about this game today, and it's for good reason. This game wholeheartedly deserves the praise. Most of the clips included in this video are from my live stream over at twitch.tv/thecauseway. If you want to come along and watch me play games like Risk of Rain 2, by all means do that. Now go play some fucking Risk of Rain 2.